How do we redefine value and wealth? I don't think the definition has to change much, but it just has to expand to include everybody. So when we're creating value, we must recognize that we're creating value as a collaborative effort, and everybody within that value creation process must be equitably rewarded for their contribution to the value creation process. And you might say, how do we do that? Oh, gee, that's so much calculating. How do you calculate? It's very simple. We have the technology today that allows us to do that. We can create software, and there's people working on this very hard to create value accounting systems where you can map value flow within a system and map the return.
And know that things like Airbnb, I know it's a very simple idea, but those kind of ideas where we all have a room to offer. We just needed a network to connect us, to offer our rooms, and we could all get value from it. We didn't need one hotel chain to build a big hotel and get all the money. We can all get a piece of that. Everyone wants a service of a car. We can all, offer an Uber-like service. So it's a model for how we can start to actualize shared value, I guess. And when it's visible, and actionable, it becomes much more real than if it's just a concept.
Nature does it all the time. Nature is wealth. Nature is value. And it recycles value all the time. Trees recycle nutrients. There's water being recycled within cyclical systems. Nature is the ultimate value recycler. We just have to look at nature to find models for economic interaction and to get sustainable economic interaction. The blueprints are there.
I believe the value in life is in people, in their knowledge, their skills, and in the natural system.
There's always growth and development happening in an ecosystem. It's just continuously cycling all the nutrients while it's growing and developing, whereas when we grow and develop, we tend to sap nutrients one way and dispose of them the other way. So I think nature's got evidence in many ways of how you can grow and develop, which is what we try and do when we're gaining wealth, but in a way that continues to cycle everything.
The goddess of the earth is compost. Everything comes from compost, and that's what nature creates. It creates itself. And I think that is how we should see the creation of wealth, and we also want that in our societies.
And if you can arrange yourself correctly so that the needs of one thing are provided by the outputs of another, then value will come from that. Food will come from it, resources will come from it, a sense of spiritual place will come from it.
The challenge is now around efficient use of resources, because last time nature did it for us properly, there were only maybe 2 billion people on the planet. Now there's 7. So it's really understanding the super resources like hemp, like that can provide so many different products. From one plant that grows really fast, you can get clothing, you can get building materials, you can get fuel, you can get food, you can get biocomposites, there's hemp plastics now. Nature hasn't presented us with any other better source of all these resources in one place.
I've also read a quote from somebody who looks at superorganisms, and they've said the genius of superorganisms is they build their wealth on infinite things like sunlight and sugar. They just constantly turn sunlight and sugars back around, and we tend to build our wealth on scarce things. So I think it's how you define wealth really, but if I really was looking for some true wealth, it would be something that builds it on infinite things and not on scarce things.
So we create abundance from tapping into that which is infinite. And there is much infinite in the world. And we've been brought up in an education system which only understands scarcity. So we think there's only so many trees in the forest. But every one of those trees in the forest produces seeds that can create millions of forests.
And once you work with seed and you begin to understand how seeds work, you can really see how you can create abundance out of one tiny thing.
And then we know that human beings, our thinking is infinite. We can think to the end of the universe and beyond. We can create anything out of anything. We're alchemists. We can turn anything into anything else. So that is what human beings are meant to do. We're meant to turn lead into gold, and we're meant to create computers out of sand, and that's what we do.
It's alchemy, né? Like, this is something that I've been really delving into is how do you make something out of something else that's completely different? How do you create something? Wealth and value, and what was the other one? Abundance.
So if we actually bring up young people to start to understand that there is infinity, that there is no real scarcity other than our own limited thinking, and you give people the tools to create things out of something else, then abundance is natural. It's natural in life.
So we need to stop trying to accumulate and extract resources, and we have to get into a paradigm of flowing of value, where value flows. The abundance does not sit with what I hold. The abundance sits in the potential out there. So if I can walk in any direction and have my needs met by interacting with a community there that is resilient and generative, then I've got wealth, all the wealth I want.
Life is value, and all systems that are an expression of life have the highest value because they are the means through which we empower ourselves. So nature is the ultimate store of value beyond ourselves. The sunlight has value. We can turn it into productive processes that we can yield from.
The possibility for life to produce abundantly, eternally is there. Why are humans not in that pattern? Why have we removed ourselves from that pattern? How did we step into a scarcity pattern where we believe that there's not enough to go around and we have to compete with each other for resources? And that steps into the next question is, we're actually using the bulk of the planet's resources to protect ourselves, to build armies, to protect species, human species from each other. We need to unlock those resources for the benefit of all people so that we can all rise, we can all live sustainably.